Hi everyone, Stepan here with another game. Let's see what happens in this one. Have I played this guy before? No. He plays the London. I'm gonna try to play aggressively, enter a Caro-kann with the immediate c5. And I'm gonna try to get a better version of the Exchange Caro-kann because I have time to play bishop f5. Of course, bishop d3 is not possible in this position because of knight takes pawn. So now you go bishop f5. And this is an improved version of the Exchange Caro-kann because this bishop is outside of the pawn chain. Now, I could consider going queen d7, but then knight e5. And queen b3 is a threat, so f6 is the move I like playing here. So I'm gonna go f6. This prevents queen b3, queen d7, knight e5. And in some positions it prepares g5, after which the bishop should drop back to d2. Now, bishop d3 is normal. Queen b3 isn't good because of queen d7, which now doesn't run into knight e5. Knight bd2 isn't great because on g5, well, bishop e3 is actually okay. No, bishop e3 is fine. It's bishop d2 is not the move, bishop e3 is the move. So knight bd2 is fine. I don't have a ton of experience in these positions, but I prefer them for black because black gets an aggressive pawn storm on the king side. Now, if you want something aggressive against the London, this is a good weapon because it doesn't leave white with a standard London position. It's basically an Exchange Caro-kann where white isn't attacking on the king side, black is. The coffee machine is still working, by the way. And yeah, queen b3 is strange because I have queen d7. And my dog is really happy today. I don't know why. I had to keep petting her. She wouldn't leave me alone. She sits next to me, and then if I'm petting her, it's fine. But if I stop, she'll start putting her paw on me, like she's holding me with a hand. And then I just have to. It's like that now. So she's here, and whenever I stop petting her, she does that. Now, do I go g5 or e6? I prefer g5 to prevent knight h4, and then e6. We'll see. The bishop should drop back. Okay, this is not as good. The bishop should have been over here. So now you can go h5, and white is forced to react. And there is no trouble with these checks because my rook is covering the h5 square. And I want to go e6, bishop d6, after which queen b7 isn't good because of rook b8, rook b2. Gain as much space as possible. And then e6, bishop d6. Everything so far is fairly standard. Black is overextending, but there isn't a huge downside to it. I could also consider something I've played before, knight h6, knight f7, which is fine. And only then bishop d6, so that you can recapture with the knight and control c4 and e4. Okay. Now bishop d6, queen d6, queen b7, rook b8, queen a6, rook b2, castles, knight bd7, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm not afraid of queen b7. It's fine. Oh wait, the queen has g7. That's slightly worrying. Because I haven't developed my knight yet. So bishop d6, queen d6, queen b7, rook b8, queen g7. I don't have rook h7 because of queen g8. So I could try rook h7 or knight h6. I like rook h7. That leaves me the option to castle queenside. If he goes c4, and I take, he has to take with the queen, that I can castle queenside. I could consider castling queenside immediately. And then c4 doesn't work, because I take it. Yeah, I'm gonna castle queenside. It seems okay. It's not that his king will be very safe on the king side, and if he castles queenside, then my position is perfectly fine. I just want to exchange his dark squared bishop because it's better than mine. And I don't think there's a way to prevent bishop d6 now. The question is, if c4, which is probably going to happen, do I go bishop d6 straight away, or do I take? Because if pawn takes, knight takes, knight d4, queen d4, there is rook c1, which is very scary. I should not have castled queenside. I didn't see rook c1. Oof, I'm happy to see that. Now I get to play bishop d6. He should have gone c4. c4 was very scary, because on rook c1 I don't have king b8, because I didn't play bishop d6 yet. Maybe I was losing after c4. Maybe. I'm full of dog here. All right. I'm just gonna trade. I'm looking at e5 straight away, It feels like it's time for e5. And then if he takes, I go d4. Maybe. I'm gonna go e5. I need to start playing actively and using the fact that his king is stuck in the center. On a6 I go b6, of course. Although I could have considered e5 instead of bishop takes knight. Very complicated position. The reason for e5 is I want to take and go rook e8. And maybe even take on d4, if he allows it. For example, if bishop b5, then takes on d4, cd4, and rook e8. Okay, he took. Now, do I go e5 or do I take back? Or sorry, do I go d4 or do I take back? If d4, cd4, knight d4, rook c1, king b8 seems okay. What's the fastest way to break through? I like knight takes because of knight d3 check, so he probably castles, but then I take twice on h3. Can I take twice on h3? Okay, I'm gonna go knight takes. On bishop b5 I go knight d3 check. On knight f3 I go knight d3 check. The question is, if he castles kingside, can I go bishop h3? Because if not, I'm going knight h6. Just safeguarding the g4 square. It looks scary for both sides. I mean, evaluating a position like this is far beyond me. Okay. So my queen ends up on h3. I push g4. And where's the mate? There's no mate. At least I don't see it. So let's develop the knight. I can still take on h3 later. My king is very unsafe, but so is his. g4 is coming. Because now I have two knights covering g4, and I could consider taking on h3 and playing knight g4. Okay, I think I have to play b6. He doesn't have queen b6. My next move is most likely going to be g4, even if he plays c4. Very scary. I'm gonna take. I cannot allow c5. I'm looking at king b8 and I'm wondering if I can take, if he can take on b6. So king b8, knight b6, a b6, queen b6, king a8. Looks scary. So I probably have to trade that knight. I cannot allow knight takes b6. Okay, I changed my mind. My king is less safe than his. Okay. I'm going king b8. That's necessary. Or it's going to become necessary very quickly. I need to keep covering b7, and if he goes rook a c1, I can trade once and go rook d8. Okay. I want to prevent queen f3, or at least that was the idea behind queen f4. And now if allowed, I'm gonna go rook d2. Maybe not immediately because of knight f3. I have to trade. And now g4, he has knight h4. Okay, let's just get my rook into play. My king is covering c7. I want to try to infiltrate, and I don't think an attack is happening while knight h4 is hanging. So I'm just going to try to activate my pieces. I didn't like bishop e4 because I don't really want to trade. I also need to consider my 6th rank, so if bishop b5, I probably go rook e6. Why is he trading everything? See, I don't get that. Why would he want to trade? I'm going bishop c8 to tie down his bishop to the defense of a6. I want to go knight f5. That's another reason for bishop c8. Okay. Forcing me to trade. Can I avoid it somehow? Okay, I'm taking, and knight f5 covers e7. I cannot allow the rook to infiltrate. Now the rook has 0 infiltration squares, and if bishop here, I can take it. Next, I want to play king c7, sorry. I want to get my king out. He's preparing to defend the pawn. The question is, do I have time for knight d4? Because he cannot go rook d1. I take on f3 with check and win the rook. He has to take. So knight d4, rook d4. If rook e8, I can safely take on b4. And if bishop d7, I have rook c4. I'm gonna do that, that works. Also, I don't think he should defend passively with rook b1. But it's pretty hard to suggest a move otherwise. So if rook b4, if rook e8, rook b4, bishop d7, rook c4 defense, I'm pretty sure. So rook b4, bishop d7, rook c4. Yeah, everything's defended. I don't know. Endgames with bishops on the board are better for me. Definitely. So now I need to watch out for bishop f5. So kind of like king c7 to just get out of this mess immediately. Yeah, I'm gonna get my king out. Okay, now on bishop d7, bishop f5, I have rook d4. And then I can eventually play king d8 to get rid of the rook. That seems fine to me. So bishop d7, bishop f5, rook d4. If, let's say, rook f7, then rook d6. Defending everything seems fine. So just rook d6 and push my pawn. How does that sound? Ah, he's going to take on d7, I take on d7, and he takes on f6. So do I just not defend? Rook d6 could be a waste of time. Because on b5 he cannot go rook f6. I go rook f4. He has to trade first. So b5, bishop d7, rook d7, rook f6. Okay, I'm going b5. I have a passed pawn, I need to push it. I'm pretty sure on rook f6 I have rook f4, because if g4 I take en passant. Now, does b4 immediately win? b4, if rook f5, I go king b6. b4 if rook e6. Yeah. b4 seems okay to me. Wow, he does not have time for that. Because he doesn't have rook g3. I saw that he didn't have rook g3. And on rook g4 I just go king b5. Very bad blunder by my opponent. He should not have taken on g5. Yeah, I mean, why did he take on g5? That's pretty weird. I don't know. Maybe he was losing here. Maybe, yeah. Okay, he was losing here too. Yeah, what did I expect him to play? Yeah. Everything is losing. b5 is correct. Yeah. Okay, I played well. Woohoo! Now let's see if I was lost at the beginning of the game. So this is still fine. And so queen b3 here makes very little sense because I've played f6. Now after queen d7, black is slightly better. I mean, h5 is a mistake. Or sorry, h4. What should I have done? e6 immediately. I always play h4 here. I didn't know this was a mistake. I've had this position 20 times. Okay. Now it's equal. Okay, so c4 here. I don't take. I go bishop d6. So if I do take, then knight c4 and he has rook c1 coming up. And I don't have bishop d6. So this is no good. But on bishop d6, I was afraid of takes. But I just have e d5. And on queen d5, bishop h2, queen d7. Yeah, I just pick up the pawn. I pick up the pawn on d4. Okay, he played a4. Bishop d6 is fine. a5 is fine. Bishop h2 is not precise. I should have gone a6. a6 seems very counterintuitive to me because he can just move the queen away. Let's say to a2. Or yeah, not a4, a2. And then this is a hook and he's going to open up my position. But okay. Knight h2. e5 is fine, although knight g7 was more precise. Knight e5 was a mistake. Oof. Knight e7 to cover my king seems to be best. b6, c4. I was losing. Where did he go wrong? I think he went wrong with, yeah, queen f3. Why would you exchange pieces? Look at my king. I don't know what he should have done, but I never would have offered the queen trade in a position like this. My king is on b8 and there's a pawn on a6. Okay. Bishop c8, a mistake. Now it's equal. King c7 or rook d5? I don't understand rook d5. Rook d5, what if bishop c6? Okay, rook d6. Okay. Knight d4 equal. Yeah, he should have gone bishop d7. I was looking at bishop c4, or sorry, rook c4 here. And then I don't know what he does. Let's say rook f8, that makes sense. King c7. No, rook c7, sorry. He takes, I take, he takes. And now my pawn isn't as quick. And my king cannot get out easily, because he always has check. I actually wouldn't know what to do here. If king c7, he can just check me back. I would never give up the pawn on a7. I would just go back. Maybe I can pick up the a pawn. Does this work? This is a draw. Okay. But once I got my king out, it was all good. Yeah. Yeah, this is over. Not a clean game, but still a win. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.